Hello, welcome to the Freeman Perspective. Well, have you ever felt like perhaps you were born into captivity? That the world around you has been constructed just to keep you in a quagmire of confusion and never having any sense of relief, place, or your whole just feeling good? Well, it's true. We have been born into captivity. We've been born into a system which we don't understand, that we're asked to continually play a part in, even though we disagree. And we have to, or else we starve, right? Well, how did we get here? How is it that we ended up in such a mess that pretty much at this point I don't see the way out? I'm having a feeling that we're going to have to wait for the great catastrophe to occur before anyone changes course, and we're going to just kind of keep going on as we're going on. And really the whole crux behind this thing, the driving force, of course, is the magic spell, money. What is money? Where does it come from? Why do we have it? What's it used for? Well, people tell me, well, it's gold. It's gold. You know, we have to have some sort of form of currency, and well, gold's too heavy to carry around, so we get these paper bills. Well, what is gold? I mean, really, what do we do with gold? We go dig it out of the earth and put it in a vault? So we take it from one cave, put it into another cave? Is this, I don't see the purpose. I don't understand the point. These things like gold and diamonds and, well, all the precious metals and gems, they don't have any real value except for what we give to them, until you start to look into high technology. If you're looking to be an intergalactic traveler, then absolutely gold and diamonds are a very crucial factor, very important thing. So here we find ourselves running. I mean, when I look at civilization, I see it as this. I see a man and a woman running on a treadmill to protect a baby, as others are trying to jump into this gilded cage that's riding upon a circus railroad cart, being pulled off the edge of a cliff by a bunch of men in suits with blinders. That's what I see. I see this as just all of us running in place being dragged off a cliff. You know, it's coming. This end is coming. This whole system that we have formed our foundation on is coming quickly to an end. And as we see it, it's a completely manufactured and contrived system. We're dealing with ideas of the Federal Reserve and the IRS, and these are just made up. They have no real foundation whatsoever, except for that we all agree that they exist. So we find ourselves now put in a position where now we've got some new presidential candidates coming our way, and we're all excited because things might change. Well, I thought I might take this time to talk to you a little bit about how I see things. Well, as if that's not what I do. Because for me, it's such a different picture. For me, back in the era of Clinton, back in the late 90s, as I'm watching these antics, as I'm watching what I call apathy dipsticks, such things as the Oklahoma City bombing, Waco. There was even the Heaven's Gate cult, and and it was as if the government was trying to see whether or not they could murder a bunch of people, tell you they were a cult, and get away with it. And I was certainly astounded with Waco when they made the made-for-TV movie, The Truth About Waco. And in the credits is Janet Reno in the State Department. I mean, the very murderers that killed all these people. And yeah, I call them murderers. I watched as they murdered those people. And I was disgusted. And I was flabbergasted that there wasn't more results from the American public. And as I say, these apathy dipsticks. And so as we went down the line each year in October, they kept coming forth this Homeland Security Act, what we now know as the Patriot Act. And this was all during the Clinton era. In the late 90s, we've got this bill coming up in October, and it comes up every October. Every October, everybody goes, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. There's no way I'm voting for such a thing. That is the most unconstitutional and just un-American thing I could possibly think of, this Homeland Security, unifying all of the secret services with the intelligence agencies and everybody having one collective database to able to manipulate, monitor, and control all of us. No way. No one would vote for it. So each year as this came about, I was watching also what they were doing to Bill Clinton. Now, when they brought Bill Clinton up on this Homeland, or on his Monica Lewinsky scandal, of course we all knew this was a contrived scandal. We all knew that they were trying to put their smoke and mirrors in front of us to keep us from looking at other things. But what maybe we didn't consider was that this was psychological warfare. That the very fact of bringing this man, the president, up in front of us and having him turn purple while they discussed insertions of cigars in secretaries and whatnot, and after Clinton's numerous bathroom breaks and his just being crushed right there in front of all of us. This is psychological warfare. This is what warriors do, what warlords do. Before they can destroy a nation, first they must destroy your heart. First they must destroy you. And so having our president being just ridiculed in front of the American public over such things, and knowing full well that JFK had affairs, or many of the other presidents had affairs. Hell, Giuliani's dressing up as a woman, you know. This was not something that was necessary. This was not something that we should be bringing about in an impeachable offense and having all of it, you know, showed in such a dramatic fashion. But there was a point to it, and there was a purpose to it, and the purpose was psychological warfare, to destroy our ideal of the man, the president. So, taking this into mind, I decided, well, okay, what's the next step? What's the next logical step? And I said, well, they need to railroad a president into office, because then we start to lose faith in the system itself, right? Now we've discredited the man, let's discredit the system. And lo and behold, I hear of this W coming to power. And at that time, I was really getting deeper and deeper into corporate logos and starting to understand how those all fit together, how it was that all the Freemasons were founders of these corporations like McDonald's, RCA, Target, Walmart, and how each of their logos had a place within the Masonic ritual. Each one signified a perspective within the ritual. And so as I went through all of the corporate logos, we had Texaco's pentagram and Shell's shell, and these were symbols of Venus, and I saw the Target symbol as a sun sign, and the canted square as a symbol representing the circumambulation around the altar of the Masons. Each and every one of them fit into this Masonic score. So when I got to Phillips 66, I thought, well, okay, that shouldn't be too difficult to discern. Let's break out the Magician's Dictionary and have a look. 66 just happens to be the number of the great work, yes, in which you can see displayed proudly behind me. The great work, yes, I find it not so great. It was also the number of the fallen angels, or the quillipothic powers, which are equated to excrement. So I can't help but chuckle that W means excrement. And and I take it one step further as a God joke and find that there was a Bush, a Dick, and a Colin running the country, and they were all phallus worshippers, and well, I don't know. So when I saw the W, and I recognized that 66 equated to W in Kabbalistic gematria, which Freemasonry is based on Kabbalism and therefore Hebrew. And within Hebrew, you have the letter 6 equaling V. So 6, 6, V, V. And then I happened to notice, well, wait a minute, the VW logo isn't 3 V's, it's 2 V's interlaced. So that's showing me once again this numbers of the quillipoth, or the excrement, the 66, the Antichrist, the W. Even when you cross those 2 V's, making 3 V's, of course, being 666 in Hebrew gematria. So Hitler put the 666 on his war machine, the Volkswagen. Now you say, well, Hitler didn't build the Volkswagen. Well, obviously not. But the symbolism was clear. And these are all a large esoteric order that rules nations. And, once you start to dig into that, that's when you start to get a little more into what I talk about. And so now, as I saw that the excrement, the W, was getting ready to be announced as a running candidate, I said, well, he'll be the one. This will be the guy they railroad into office. And so when they did, and they railroaded him through Jeb Bush in Florida, I say, no, you guys are missing the point. This is psychological warfare. This is the continuation of what they did to Clinton. So the fact that they're showing you that Jeb Bush forced W into office is supposed to make you mad. This is the whole point of the thing. And so it wasn't Jeb Bush that railroaded the W into office. It's these secret society Kabbalistic orders that are doing such things. Well, once they had railroaded the W into office, I knew this would be the year. And as I was watching throughout the Clinton era for this October date for the Homeland Security Act. And when they railroaded W into office, I said, this is the year. This is the year they'll do it. I analyzed the situation, and I considered that, well, they're going to need about 2 weeks of a public reaction time for a major event to cause them to change their minds and actually vote for this Homeland Security Act. And so as I looked at the dates, 9/15, somewhere in the middle of the month of November or September, they're going to need a major terrorist attack. So knowing that these guys are ceremonial magicians and that they are stuck to these ritual dates, I picked 9/11, just clearly on the fact that George H.W. Bush had announced the New World Order publicly for the first time on 9/11, 1990. And lo and behold, I have a whole line of people at my door on 911 going, how did you know? Well, it's simple. Once you realize who these people are, then it's quite obvious what they're willing to do. And if you're watching what they're trying to fulfill, then you know what steps that they need to take to fulfill it. So now everybody's like, well, Freeman, give us another one. Come on, what's next? I'm like, God, this is so inconsequential. You don't need a next. You should just now know that you are being lied to and that this is a whole contrivance. And the whole point of me talking to you about this brotherhood is not so that we can go out and hang them in the streets. That is not my goal whatsoever. My goal is not to point out to you the bad guy. And as I talk to you about all of these things, I do not want you to think that the Masons are all bad guys. This is not a case of bad guy versus good guy. This is a case of systems being used against you. So as we start to uncover this thing and understand that it is this particular group in charge of America, that it's this one faction of people that have kept the system going, then we start to question what it is that they're truly after. Now, if we take this a step further and you do want to start to plot and decide what they might do next, then let's look at what they want. I'll give you a little challenge, and you could even maybe do it now, hit pause on the video, or wait till after the show, or do it while you're multitasking with me. But go over and check your web. Go to your web search engine, whichever one you choose, and type in Freemasonry chip. Just CHIP, Freemasonry chip. And hit that enter button. And what you're going to see here is a whole list of Freemasonic lodges. And these aren't encoded in any way. They're straightforward Freemason lodges around the nation who are promoting the CHIP program. Very curious. Now, most of us don't want to agree to a CHIP program. Most of us don't want to be embedded in a CHIP program. And as Fox News told us, they can change and erase the information inside that chip. Who wants that? Yeah. So now we're facing, as they start to move this idea forward, and as of May this year, they need to institute this Real ID Act. Now, they're not going to force it on us just yet. because, well, of course, everybody's against it, just as they were all against the Homeland Security Act back before 9/11. So what do you do to propose and bring this to the forefront? Now, they're going to require by May that all of the driver's licenses be in compliance with the Real ID standards. But they're not going to unify the system just yet. And what we're also finding is that this brotherhood has a timeline. And this timeline is critical in the esoteric type of situations and in understanding what's coming and what's to come. So, to bring forth a chip to get the public to accept this, they need another major event, right? Another excuse. And what I see is that, well, you know, to look at it just plain and bluntly is a plague would be the best possible solution for them to pass this type of thing. Well, it's occurring already in the UK. They have what they're calling the norovirus, and reports are saying that thousands are dropping dead and that they're having a media blackout on this whole thing, but that they have mass graves of people dying off from virus. If we've watched this situation long enough, we've seen that pretty much everything gets instituted first in the UK and then over here. You know, they had the cameras full on watching them with an open, full monitoring system before we really accepted ours. We had plenty of cameras, but not the full board system in place. So, would they do that? You think they care? They care not a bit. They care not a bit for your lives. What they care about is this system. What they care about is putting forth their agenda. And their agenda is not laid within these simple foundations that we believe in, like money or politics or education. These are all just smoke and mirrors to keep us all preoccupied. You think Ron Paul's not a ruse? Controlled opposition, I say. He's there just to make you mad. Especially, you know, he keeps you all occupied going, well, they're not talking about Ron Paul. Well, of course not. You know, they want you all mad about that. And all of these systems that have been put in place are there just as smoke and mirrors to keep you lost in this quagmire, never focusing on what was truly important, which is life, the tribe, the family. This is what is truly important, the feeding of one another, and the loving, the caring, the nurturing. But we're all lost in this money spell. And so instead of thinking, well, how can we make the world a better place? We think, well, how can I get enough money to make the world a better place? And so we stay within the system. And in this whole good guy, bad guy scenario, the one thing that doesn't change is the system that they're within. You know, he's still going out and robbing the bank for gold. Don't understand.